Now, we communicated through channels engaging in quirky activities like slapping each other with virtual trout. Welcome to Ladies Wealth Podcast, the Faceless Space, episode number 2. If you missed the first episode, then you might be wondering what that virtual fish slapping was all about. After this episode, go back to episode 1 and hit that play button. Today, our time travel continues. We are no longer in 2001. Hello, 2010. Apple just released their first iPad, setting up the stage for tablets, dominating the market. And women were weeping over Bruno Mars' song, Just the Way You Are. Do you have a favorite song from this year? Let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. My handle there name is Ladies Wealth. No spaces, no special characters, just one complete line. I'm curious to hear what's your favorite song from 2010. Now, at this time, I was going through a lot of life events. I hardly noticed any of those things. However, I did notice the launch of Instagram. My immediate thought was, uh-oh. I had a suspicion it would become one of the top social media platforms. I distinctively recall thinking to myself that Instagram had the potential to take businesses to a new level and provide individuals with opportunities to achieve significant success. I debated with myself about whether if I should try growing one of my Faceless brands there. It was a tough decision. Ultimately, I decided against it. The pressure to maintain a perfect presence on Instagram, combined with the chaos of my life, led me to prioritize my well-being. Now, Instagram has changed a lot since 2010, but back in 2010, people's feed were so perfect looking, and there was a lot of pressure for everything to be almost like an art gallery. So I had to spend some time to accept the decision of letting this opportunity go. Now, this might sound a little hokey, but it really did take some time for me to come into terms with my decision, because letting go of the possibility of building substantial income, for an entrepreneur, that's a bit of a hard pill to swallow. Maybe you can relate. However, I made a promise to myself that someday I would give Instagram another try, wholeheartedly and without reservations. So let's return to the time machine. Are you ready? It's now September 2023. My mentor at the time spoke heavily about Instagram, and he encouraged it to give a chance. Once again, I found myself deliberating over whether I should launch a Faceless brand on Instagram. This time, I took the plunge. Yet, it wasn't as straightforward as I had anticipated. A part of me still resisted Instagram. I felt like that child at the zoo, clenching onto their ice cream cone with great big puffy red cheeks, stubbornly refusing to leave, with my arms crossed, pouting, saying, no, I want to stay here. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go anywhere. But then I imagined a certain look on my mentor's face. It's very similar to that look that mom gives you. Do you know the one? So I reluctantly said, fine, let's do this. At this time, I had not decided what I wanted to do with Ladies Wealth. I couldn't decide if I wanted it to be a faceless or personal brand. In fact, I didn't have any plans at all. which is something I do not encourage anybody to do. Have a plan. Instagram proved to be incredibly uncomfortable for me. This is the time that Reels was really taking over the platform. And I remember thinking to myself, really? So it went from, 2010 Instagram art gallery pictures to videos. That was a little weird. I attempted to record talking head videos, also known as face forward, on my phone. But I ended up with more footage of my feet than my face. And feet were definitely not my niche. Yes, for the record, I am not in the feet niche. Instead, I took my time to familiarize myself with Instagram, and I focused on creating curated content. This approach made it easier for me to grasp the nuances. Now, when I say created content, if you're on Instagram and if you've ever seen those celebrity videos or motivation videos, those are what we call created content. So the person is just collecting popular content and repurposing it on their account. So returning to my strong foundations, I decided faceless brand it is. So instead of using my own face, I chose a more recognized one. Do you love Meryl Streep? Turns out Instagram loves her too. I created a meme featuring Meryl Streep's iconic stare in The Devil's Wear Prada. Then completing it to the trending audio, Gangster's Paradise. To my surprise, it went viral. Well, viral for me. It amassed over 11,000 views. Are you rolling your eyes yet? Hey, 11,000 views. That's good because my account suddenly gained momentum. From that point on forward, things got really busy. Yet, it felt somewhat hollow. It didn't feel authentically me. Remember, curated content, it's just a collection of content that you find entertaining. Or maybe when you did your research, found that this type of content was trending and this was your way of getting momentum on your account. And so it doesn't really reflect who you are as a person. And faceless brands is meant to reflect who you are. It is some of your likes, your dislikes, your experiences, and other various facets of you. So that's, I think, one of the most confusing things that people think about when they hear faceless brands. They're like, I don't quite understand. Well, basically, faceless brand will take a small part of you, and instead of showing your face, you're going to have a different medium be your brand ambassador. So with private brands, their face is their ambassador. With faceless brands, it's something else. And that could be so many different things. I'll get into that more later as well. But for now, let's just keep it like this. I might go off in a tangent and I might lose you even further. But having this created content didn't feel authentically me. I just ended up scrolling on Instagram. Do you do that too? Just kind of, flip through the reels, flip through the carousels, post. Nothing really connects, right? And then, bam, something caught my attention. It was the rise of faceless accounts on Instagram. And I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam. Hey, guess what? It's time to wrap up this episode. But don't leave just yet. Let me go back a few minutes. I had talked about what a faceless brand, and if I heard correctly, I described it as without a face. And then I talked about, I believe I said a private brand. It's supposed to be a personal brand. Sorry about that confusion. So if you heard me say private brand, I meant to say personal brand. Now, these podcast episodes are real and raw. I don't believe in spending too much time editing. So this is pretty much a one take deal. So here is today's takeaway. Life presents us with tough decisions and opportunities. Sometimes saying no is necessary to maintain authenticity and prioritize our mental health in the entrepreneurial journey. However, it's also valuable to revisit opportunities and review them once again. When faced with resistance, ask yourself whether it stems from fear or something else. If it is fear, I encourage you to summon the courage to push through, because it could be the very breakthrough you need. Join me next Tuesday for episode number 3, where I'll share all about the pivot I made with Ladies Wealth. I hope the rest of your week goes well. If not, get cozy for the next episode, because you're about to receive a warm virtual hug and all the feels from me. Life is tough enough, and the world needs more of is love. Do you agree? Ladies Wealth, signing off.